Right. I am talking here issues in assessment, evaluation, and research in intervention studies. Of course, we find several issues in the assessment of program impact as well as the assessment of the outcomes. We can find several issues in evaluation process, issues in the standard of evaluation, issues in the choice of designs, tools, and methods for evaluation. And the same is the case of intervention studies. So here in this discussion, we use our quality of time for finding out the issues in assessment, evaluation, and research in intervention studies. Okay, I need your full attention for a while. And if you become more attentive, you will get more ideas. I discuss the issues here as a part of introduction. Intervention studies, of course, you know well, intervention studies based on the effectiveness of intervention, studies based on the efficiency of intervention program. Intervention is treatment, intervention is pedagogical support. Here in our case, for the development of a skill, for the development of active citizenship and democratic values. Intervention studies aim to assess the effectiveness of pedagogical support, treatments, or strategies designed to improve outcomes in various fields. Okay? Assessment, evaluation, and research in intervention, all these three things. Got it? These are critical components. These are critical in the sense that they let us in thinking, in reflecting opinions for understanding the effectiveness of various interventions that aim to improve outcomes in diverse fields, such as in the field of education, in social services, and many others like politics, economics, etc. Intervention studies play a crucial role. They play determining role in informing evidence-based practices. We carry out intervention studies to get evidence-based practices, and we come to find several key issues. Okay, we come to find some key issues or several key issues related to these three things: related to assessment, related to evaluation, and intervention research. Addressing these issues requires careful study design. For example, we have collected the issues, we are well aware on the issues, and we wanna address those issues. And what else to do? We should pay attention for the selection of particular, specific, relevant study design, collect meticulous data, rigorous data collection and analysis, transparency in reporting, transparency, clarity in documentation, and ongoing collaboration between researchers, practitioners, and the stakeholders. So the things, issues are everywhere. So is the case in assessment, evaluation, and intervention studies. And addressing these issues require careful study design, proper consistent data, transparency in reporting, and ongoing collaboration. The issues are discussed. Some issues are related to assessment. Some issues are related to evaluation. Some issues are related to research. So first I discuss assessment issues. Yeah, issues in selecting appropriate measures. Choosing valid and reliable measures that accurately capture the intended outcomes of the intervention can be always challenging. Issue is also prevailed in measurement bias. We find some issues related to measurement bias, that is biases in measurement and reporting. Biases in measurement and reporting have been important issues. Next one is multiple outcomes. Okay, outcomes. Issues related to assessment is also multiple outcome. Intervention often affect various outcomes. And some issues are here. They are related to evaluation issues. For example, use of appropriate study design for the evaluation. Issues in the selection of study design. There are different study design we discussed in the earlier videos. Issue of internal validity, issue of external validity. Similarly, some research issues like replication crisis, using the findings time and again, publication bias, publishing the findings, being biased or not giving space to all the reports, all the findings, some ethical barriers and ethical considerations. These are issues. Likewise, some other issues include complex intervention. Intervention program itself can be complex and there is quite difficulty to evaluate. Long-term outcomes of the intervention studies. So if uh, we use evaluation of the intervention studies in a short term or in without being completed, then what happens? We cannot make fair judgment because there could be some long-term outcomes. Similarly, dissemination and implementation, these are also the issues. Sharing of the findings, implementation of the findings. In the effective evaluation, sometimes we find the challenges like, for example, sometimes we find the challenges like participants may not be representative of the target population, leading to biased result. Similarly, ensuring ethical standard in intervention studies is always important. It includes obtaining informed consent, protecting participant confidentiality, and addressing any potential harm or discomfort resulting from the intervention. Another challenge, another issue, ensuring that the intervention is implemented as intended can be challenging. In the same way, external factors that were not controlled, that were not measured effectively for in the study can confound the result. Addressing the long-term effects and sustainability of the interventions can be difficult. Short-term positive outcomes may not translate into lasting benefits, long-lasting benefits, and long-term follow-up may be logistically challenges. The instruments used for assessing outcomes may lack the validity. They may lack validity or reliability, leading to inaccurate or inconsistent result. Okay? Leading to inaccurate or inconsistent results. Similarly, participants may alter their behavior. They may alter their behavior simply because they are aware they are being observed or participating in an intervention studies. Another issue, positive results are more likely to be published than negative or null results. It will also raise issue in the effectiveness, raise issue in the intervention studies or even assessment and evaluation. The extent to which findings can be generalized to broader populations or different contexts may be limited. Studies conducted in controlled setting may not reflect real-world conditions. Some limited resources like including time and funding may impact both the scale as well as scope of intervention studies. Similarly, another issue like this, interventions may interact with contextual factors. They may interact with contextual factors that affect outcomes. So there are some issues, not only because of lacking in intervention studies and study design, issues because of all other things like participant, generalizability, contextual factor, etc. Besides, inadequate sample sizes may result in low statistical power, making it challenging to detect real effect. Establishing a causal relationship between the intervention and outcomes, it can be challenging. Interventions may not be culturally sensitive sometimes. There can be cultural barriers. They may lead to the lack of effectiveness or unwanted consequences, unwanted result in certain population. At that time too, there is an issue, there is a challenge. However, okay, however, rigorous research methodologies and a commitment to ethical standards, these are essential to overcome these challenges. Challenges can be overcome, but we need to use rigorous methodologies and we must have the commitment to ethical standards. These are essential to overcome the challenges and they contribute reliable and applicable knowledge to the field of intervention studies. Okay. Though there exists a number of issues are not always issues. Rather, issues are the subject of discussion and we can address issues in a number of ways. So here I am talking some ways through which we can address the issues, right? We can employ some strategies to address the issues as discussed earlier. For example, we can select appropriate measures, quality measures, select appropriate standards for assessment, evaluation, and intervention studies. We can use validated and reliable instruments. We can develop context-specific measures for the effective measurement. We may utilize multiple measures. Yeah, multiple measures means using multiple tools, collecting multifaceted data, and making multiple interpretations. We shall minimize measurement bias, train the data collectors, blind data collection. Blind data collection without giving information to the participants. We can take the data. That is called blind data collection. We can have pilot test instruments, and we may also strengthen study design. We can bring changes in study designs. We can select different study designs and combine them appropriately for the better result. Similarly, we can choose the right decision at the right time, utilize the control group as well as the experimental group, intervention group for addressing the issues in intervention studies. Can have pre-test and post-test measurement, take pre-test, post-test measurement, enhance internal validity. How? Can enhance internal validity through randomization, intention to treat analysis, and statistical power. Similarly, we can improve external validity. The ways of addressing the problem is to improve external validity by describing the target population, even considering context and encouraging replication of the study in different contexts. Similarly, we can address ethical considerations, follow certain ethical considerations, engage the stakeholders in assessment process, in meaning-making process, assessment of the intervention studies. We shall utilize mixed methods, collective methods, and address the transparency, clarity, well documentation, and the rigor. Rigor means hardships. So by taking all these things into the consideration, we will be able to mitigate the issues and we can have better assessment, better evaluation, and better intervention of the program. Further, we can design studies with careful consideration of potential biases. We clearly document the study design methodology and many deviations from the original plan. We can prioritize ethical considerations. How? Prioritize them by obtaining informed consent from participants, protecting their confidentiality, addressing the potential harm, and implement measures to monitor and ensure intervention validity. Similarly, plan for long-term follow-up assessment and we can select and utilize different assessment tools, variety of assessment tools like open-air, interview, observation sheets that have been validated and tested reliability. Similarly, we shall combine quantitative and qualitative methods to provide comprehensive understanding of the intervention's impact, can be aware of publication bias, and actively seek to publish positive as well as the negative findings, have further collaboration, intensive collaboration with diverse communities, shall engage stakeholders, ensure that the intervention is culturally sensitive and relevant. Similarly, monitor participants' adherence, monitor participant choices, participant preferences to the intervention, and track dropout rates, and implement a continuous quality improvement plans. So quality is always challenging, but quality is must. And by addressing these issues and challenges, we can quality. So by implementing these strategies, program evaluations can overcome program evaluators can overcome various challenges and generate reliable, valid, and informative results that contribute to evidence-based practice and guide effective program implementation and the improvement. Okay, so the part is in implementation. If there is effective implementation, can be effective or good result. If implementation part is poor, and the result will be misleading. So by implementing different strategies as discussed in the earlier PP text, program evaluators, they can overcome various challenges and generate a reliable, valid, and informative result that contribute to evidence-based practice and guide effective program implementation, effective program improvement. It's on our hands. On our means evaluators. Okay, these are some issues I discussed, and for the more details, you see the list of the reference. I'm pretty sure that you will be going through the references, you're going through other multiple resources, and extend your horizon of knowledge. Okay, wish you all the best. Go through this, and the trainer, you also invest your time and energies for doing the things as discussed